Yes, we are live on YouTube, and yes, today is Wednesday, but we have come a little earlier because we have something very interesting today. And when this is secrets of living a full life means a fearless, unstoppable, limitless, and loving life. So this is Vijay Tushar, Leadership Development Catalyst, signing in for this beautiful session with none other than a person who's worn many hats and who actually lives and breathes connection with nature. Is none other than Neil Pimento. So welcome Neil. How does it
Hi,
feel?
thank you. Oh,
How does it feel coming here?
it's quite different, quite
Yes,
different. Yeah, and it's my first time actually. So
yes.
I usually I'm not used to all this thing on social media. So you got to take me with a pinch of salt, and I may falter.
Don't worry, we will let you be at ease. So just be yourself. And let me just introduce Neil formally to the crowd. Well,
Yeah.
Neil is a dog father. He is a kayaker, a commercial diver, sports fisher, and a free spirit by heart. He has explored the Southeast Asia, remote locations of Papua, New Guinea, and as a traveler and studies various cultures, deriving immense wisdom from his travels. On the personal side, he loves going on adventures alone and experiencing his spiritual nature. So that is Neil Pimento, my dear friend. And yes, a wanderer of free spirit is what I would like to call him as. So over to you, Neil.
Thank you.
My first question is like, I know that you like fishing, and I remember I asked you a number of times to invite you for your fishing trips, and you've never taken me there. So, what is it about fishing, and when did you actually first start fishing?
Fishing was something which I was like, born with, I could say, because at
Yes.
the age of like 2 or 3, I used to be around my house, and any puddle of water, they were people put their little paper boats. I had a broomstick and one small piece of thread and a little safety pin, and hoping to catch fish. Of course, there was none in that puddle, but I it was just the thought of fishing. And then from that, I graduated to actually going to the little pond which had tadpoles and frogs. So I ended up actually catching frogs, and
Ah, you
that
ended up
never.
catching frogs.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, because I used to see frogs eat these flies, so I put some thread on a small little pin, and then I dangled it in front of the frog, and the frog caught it, and that's how I hooked the frog, but I let it go. I was not one of those kids that killed something. I would observe and let it go, and that is one of the reasons that it made me very inquisitive. Today's kids are blessed with the internet, with Lens, and all these programs where you can take a picture of a bird and then you can identify it. Oh, this yellow bird is a golden oriole or a
Mm,
fish. In our days, it was like you had to go to the library, and these species, like a specimen, would not remain with us all the time. So I would sketch it and then go to the library and find out what it was, what fish and what frog, and stuff like that. So,
so you did a lot of
and
research.
yes, because that books was my source of inspiration, and it was my source of guidance, which today's kids, I don't think, actually go into the old books of, especially adventurers. Like if you read Jim Corbett, I always suggest people to read this book, The Man Eaters of Kumau. So by Jim Corbett, or
Okay.
you read the Polar Explorers, and then you wonder what sort of person was this guy to be going through so much of pain and suffering, and not much of monetary benefits, but just fame. So So anyway, from there I graduated to the river, the Poisar River, which is now Poisar Nala. But
Yeah.
yeah, so but that river, I yet call it a river. It was the nursery for the sea fish. The sea fish used to come during the monsoon and lay eggs and spawn over there and go back the river. And you had two species of fish, which one is the Indian tarpon and one is the barramundi, what we call the sea bass. So they actually spawned in the Poisar River. So it was such an important link in the food chain, which people are very ignorant about our ecosystem, and
Correct.
every river today is getting polluted. So when the nurseries die, the fish in the sea die. You don't get big fish or small fish. So yeah.
So, I mean,
So
I think the BFC, anybody from the BFC or officials should be seeing this live here and knowing what a rich resource was the Mithi River that actually is a part of this Poisar River. Am I not? Am I right?
yeah,
The
the
Mithi.
Mitti River is the one in Goregaon, which also
Ah,
originates in the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. The
yeah.
Poisar River originates also Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and Daisar River also originates. These were three actual rivers which existed, and they had pristine clear water till people came and then they transformed it into a sewage canal. But it even today you go to some of the cities in Europe and they have rivers like that, and it's kept pristinely clean, and they have the river banks. You can imagine strolling down a clean river in the evenings. It's such a source of
Pleasure.
relaxation. Yeah, but we have lost all that in this mad rush for development.
Okay.
Developing the place is become more important than actually safeguarding the ecosystem. Because once the ecosystem dies, we die. Once the trees die, that's it. We are gone. Yeah.
Sure. Is it not possible for these rivers to be, cleaned and brought back to the olden state?
Yeah, it will, but it will take a lot of time and effort to do that, to begin with, actually. Because what happens, what you cannot see below the surface is the heavy mercury content, heavy metals, which have gone into the riverbed. So this has to be dredged. They did it in the Thames. The Thames was one of the most polluted rivers in UK, and they worked on it, and then after a few years, they actually had salmon, go upstream and spawn, and which was a very big national event. So if we take this seriously, because see what happens is the river can be a source of water.
Sure.
If you have clean water, you can actually store water in it. So
Sure.
it's a source of water, plus it will give a lot of greenery. It will have a cooling effect and a therapeutic effect for people walking along a river bank. Who has that pleasure? And that's in the heart of Bombay. But it'll take a lot of willpower, money, resources, and you need a vision for this. Anything about eco to safeguard, you got development on one side, and then you have the pressure of performing and getting things done for people. And but end of the day, it's how you live, and the quality of life in Bombay is like rock bottom. There's from crowded trains to everything is hush hush. Like people talk about bullet trains, like I said, why should I travel on a bullet train when I go to an office and wait for another 4 hours in queue? So the point of having a bullet train is just not this. What we need is efficient transport, like on the go, like but also economically it should be viable. Yeah.
So, in the discussion that we had earlier at your place when I was there,
Yeah.
you spoke about fishing being a spiritual experience. So, can you
Okay.
explain that?
See, when people are within themselves, like you're by yourself, you are not listening to anybody. You are not listening to your mobile phone or your any music. You're just in the wilderness, and that is where your senses are at its peak. Because when you're fishing, you are watching. Your eyes are watching for moment of the fish. Your ears are, listening very attentively for any splash, because when there's a splash, that's a fish. So all your senses are at its peak, and that is the time you really hope, and that hope is to catch a fish. Then you start praying. You actually start praying, oh God, give me one fish so I can go and take it and feed my family, or whatever it is. But that's when you hope, and it's a very, very, what you call, a very enlightening experience when you do catch a fish. Like, I always, whenever I caught a fish, and there are times when I have to take the fish and harvest it so my family can eat or my friends can eat. But I always thank the fish for giving its life. And this is done by a lot of people in Indonesia and a lot of people in Southeast Asia. They always thank the fish. They thank him for giving his life so that we can live. So,
I never looked
yeah,
at fishing ever in this manner.
yeah,
Never looked
yeah.
at it like that.
So, and then you thank the sea, you thank the river. These are all part of that system that is giving you food to be put on your table. So there's a saying, you give a man to eat fish, he'll eat for today. You teach him to fish, and he'll never go hungry all his life. So if you go to in the good old days, most people on the Konkan survived on rice and fish. That was the stable food, because chicken was very expensive. Nobody would cut a chicken because it was giving eggs. So why would you cut the golden goose, So people, you never, it was a very rare occasion that they would cut a chicken, but it was always fish. So the 4 months of monsoon, when there was no fish, then people had dried fish. They had pickles made, but it was always a fish based thing, so yeah, that was how, and this cultures throughout Southeast Asia.
So any incident or any experience that you have had by on a fishing spree, where you felt connected to yourself, or you felt, or you got some answers to your questions.
Yes, because a lot of times I'm number 17, which is number 8.
Yeah.
Now, number 8 people have to work twice as hard as anybody else. Yeah, you any number 8 person, you ask them, like, if you will see something coming within your reach, and then for no reason it goes away. So when I was fishing, I once I hooked a very big fish, and I was like hell bent on landing, because it was like a record. I would have broken a record, and then it came very close. It came very close, and I was like, I have this big hook, and it's called a gaff. It's like a big, very sharp hook which you have on the end of a rod, on a pole, and you put it in the fish gills. It may seem crude, yeah, and then you harvest the fish. But at that moment, the hook came out, you know, and the hook came out, and I seen the fish slowly swim away, and then I said to myself, I said, we both were equally good. I was not giving up. Neither the fish gave up, and we have to have one winner. And I seen the fish go, and I told myself, I said, he was a winner today, and you lost. So, yeah, but that's what I take. I take with me. I always carry that with me. That don't don't think that you're within grasp of something and you'll get it. You know. So always be prepared to lose.
Correct. I think it's
Yeah.
always be prepared to lose. I would say expect for the best.
Yeah,
Prepare
but
for
then when you know, okay, this can go out of this, you are not so heartbroken. Because I have seen people who have put all their stakes on something. They know it will this, but they yet think that winning thing, I'm going to get this, and they lose it, and they're not prepared for it. And that is where people have these mental breakdowns, and their expectations were so high that they have forgotten that they can also lose. It's like the share market. People put all their eggs in there, and it loses, and then you get wrecks. People blaming this and that. But that's it. Like, you got to accept the fact. Yeah.
So that's what I said. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Another one beautiful thing that you talked about this when it comes to two people wanting to reach a particular goal, which might be theirs.
Yeah,
One becomes a winner, one becomes a loser. So
yeah,
accepting defeat gracefully is
yeah,
is a quality that not everybody has. Like you are
true.
just near your goal and you almost done everything that you could, but ultimately it was he who won, the fish who won.
Yes,
So
yes,
at
yes.
that time, letting it go is really very, it's an act of grace, because it's
Yeah,
not easy to let you go. You may be frustrated, you may feel foolish at that time, you may think that what have I done wrong. So, today generation's children, I would say maybe 50.
I think I lost you, Vijay.
Sir, may I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I think by the time Miss get connected, you can share anything or we can ask anything.
Okay, you can ask me any questions. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are back.
Okay,
Right?
Miss has come.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. She wanted to ask me some questions. So yeah.
Yes, very nice. We can start the question again.
No, Miss, just you were disconnected. That's why I asked.
Okay. However, I think we can take questions also. You'll have to remind me where I am because my internet is acting a little bit funny. So now I think you're clear, right?
Yeah, yeah, clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying, like, taking defeat, it's not very easy to take defeat. At the slightest, what do you say, disturbance, many people give up. That's why we see so many suicides happening. And people not being able to handle the pressure of what has happened. Like if you will see that, what is that, CC coffee,
Coffee
coffee
cafe day.
bag, coffee
Yeah.
cafe day. Siddharth. He was not
Okay.
able to make up that defeat. So that's
True.
one aspect of him where he gave up his life. So he was a
Yeah.
fish who allowed himself to be hooked by the perils of his misery. Whereas if you see his wife on the other hand, she took up the company so well and she completed all his debts. So on one side, you see a person who's not able to handle the pressure that's given. And on the other side, you see a person who's taking up all the challenges that is being given and setting it back again. So I believe there is no defeat unless you feel the defeat.
True.
You can never be defeated until you feel the failure. So
Yeah.
I always tell myself I get what I want because what I don't get, I forget that I ever wanted.
Class करता हूँ. Class.
Bruce, can you keep yourself on mute?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bruce is a wonderful person. He's been a fighter all his life. And he's actually brought so much of happiness and wisdom in our classes that I cannot say. It's amazing. Having Bruce with us is really fun. So, Bruce, have you ever gone for fishing?
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes in Goa.
Yeah. And what is your experience been?
It requires a lot of patience. It cannot be done very easily. It takes 5 to 6 hours to catch one fish.
Is that true to you?
No, if you don't go on the right time, there are right times and wrong times for fishing. Then there is what you use as bait also matters, because they say to catch a fish you got to think like a fish. So a lot of people who go there, they think like people, and you cannot catch a fish if you think like a person, because you are thinking, oh, the fish will be there, but the fish is not there, because a person can be there. A fish needs a place to hide. He needs food to eat, and he's also very particular what he eats. So if you know these three things, and also when he'll eat, they are not like humans who eat all the time. So they have a particular time, and they are usually before full moon and after full moon. They will be very hungry. The new moon also, when the tide is very high, it's called spring tide. That is the time you get fish. They are more hungry. So these are little pointers. And also the bait which you use has to be fresh. We all like to eat fresh food, and so the fish, if you put some stale sardine, he's not going to eat it. He wants a fresh sardine. You heard that, Bruce?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Where you fish in Goa?
Near Anjuna Beach.
Oh, Anjuna. Okay, okay. I live in Arpora, so
Oh,
I go down. I go actually up the Zuari, and then I fish from Baga Rocks. I fish in Chapora River, Terracol, all that area. Yeah, so if I'm in Goa, I'll give you a buzz. You can come along fishing with me if you want.
I'm going, in fact, this summer I'm going in 2 3 days.
Okay, okay, okay. You're very warm now. You have to be very careful. Make sure you wear a big hat. If not, you'll get sunstroke. You
Yes,
know.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What are you doing, Bruce?
I just finished my 10th standard and now I'm appearing for 11th.
Okay, and what you're planning to do?
Science.
Science, but what profession you want to take up to?
Computer engineering.
Okay, okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody has any questions?
Sir, I had question, but I got the answer in your
Oh,
talks earlier. But I
oh,
just
okay.
wanted to ask that how can you keep yourself away from social media, etc. When Miss gave yesterday your name, I searched, but I didn't get anything. But
Okay.
now I realize that why you keep yourself like this. And
See,
one more thing is that people crave for serene experience, but I think you might have everyday or so frequent serene experiences.
yes, yes, true, true. The whole thing is that I come from the old school where we used to play. Uh, when I was on the ship, I worked as a diver on the ship, and that time we had no social media, no telephones, nothing. So we used to sit down and talk, and we used to play snakes and ladders. Yeah, snakes and ladders. Some of the boys used to even knit, because we were 3 months out at sea. And the diving, I did diving. So I used to live in a chamber closed with another 5 people. So we had 3 teams of 2 divers each. We would go down, work, and come back, and because we couldn't be depressurized. So we were kept in this pressure chamber for 28 days. You see this big boss and all, that is nothing compared to the life we lived as saturation divers. So at that point, we used to talk to each other, and we used to play games. And it was like when I came out of 28 days, I would know how my partner was, his family, who was his dog's name, his bird's name, everything. Today, people are not talking to each other. That is a problem, because we don't share, and we have the phone has taken away all our friends. And it's so easy to pick an argument today because everybody is a WhatsApp expert, you know. So the thing is now is you got to find yourself hobbies, and the hobby can be anything. You can either bird watch, identify birds, or if you take up a music instrument, but keep that time for yourself. So you will develop as a person, because when you are within yourself, you will grow. Now I'll tell you a very 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 um, very strange or a different thing which happened to me. My family, I have a wife and two kids. Yeah, they're all very good musicians. My daughters are pianists. My wife is a good singer and a keyboard player, and I was the only one who was completely tone deaf. You tell me to sing, I had nothing. During COVID, I pulled out an old guitar and I started playing, looking at YouTube, and I used to play 2 hours to 4 hours every day, anything strumming. And I started learning, and I started getting a lot of success. And then I bought a better guitar because that old guitar wouldn't hold the tune, it wasn't good enough. And now I started to play and sing together. And it at this age, yeah, I'm not young, so it did not stop me. So never allow your age to dictate what you do. So, whatever you want to do it, whatever age. Yeah. What
Sir,
are you
one
doing?
more.
What do
Uh,
you do?
I'm with Miss. I'm doing the life coach and counselor
Okay.
course.
Okay.
And like as you saying that the age is just a number, nothing else. Yes,
Yeah.
I have completed my BA at the age of 50. Hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
हाँ
I can hear you. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was saying, that I completed my BA at the age of 50.
Very good. Yeah. So that
And
that that doesn't stop you. You can go and do your MA even now. Yeah.
I just want to ask that I have done almost adventures like skydiving or paragliding, etc. But the underwater activity, I scare of that. I don't
Everybody.
know the
No, no,
reason.
no.
I don't know, but I feel that
Okay.
I won't able to breathe. The next breath will not come.
You ask me. I've been diving for now almost you can say almost 45 years. Yeah. I started diving when I was 15. I'm 16 now. But you ask me, and I'll tell you, I'm frightened. You heard me on that, Usha?
No,
Yeah.
no, sir. It was missed. So
Oh,
uh,
I said that even at this age, I've been in this industry of commercial diving for almost like 35 years, but I was diving before that, and I'm still frightened of water, because frightened is that you respect it. You know it can kill you. A lot of people who go to the beach don't respect the sea. They go and they get drowned because then they are not frightened. They say "ये चलता है," but the water, they say still waters run deep. So you think अरे कुछ नहीं होएगा. Now I seen one YouTube video of a girl. She was she had a boyfriend on the other side taking the Instagram clip, and she jumped with a jacket and jeans. And you are not going to swim with a jacket and jeans. And confidence, and you can breathe very easily. It is not at all. And if you did skydiving, my hats off to you, because I
Recently,
hate.
sir, just
Yeah.
2 months back. Just 2 months back.
Okay.
I'm 54 now.
Okay. That's amazing. Yeah. Where did you do skydiving?
Dubai, Palm Jumeirah.
Oh, okay. So you did a tandem jump. Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so
Many.
sorry.
Yeah.
मैं लाइव है पॉइंट ऐसा कुछ है या बंद है
हाँ मैं अब
नील बोल रहा है क्या अभी
नील बोल रहा है
Yeah. I
तो
got
अभी
busy.
देख
Yeah.
नील
Yeah.
say something.
Yeah. BG, you can hear me.
Now I can't hear him. 1 minute.
no Usha just said I am 54 now हुआ है क्या
Yeah,
Usha,
yes,
did you
yes,
say that you are 54
yes,
now?
yes.
Yes, she said.
Yes.
So I think it's
Yeah.
working, but the buds, 1 sec. Today
Miss, we
seems to
tried
be
to
a melody
keep-
of errors.
हाँ.
So
but
Blue में
We tried to
device.
keep on the show.
you're like
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. The fish seems to be winning today. All right. Okay, we continue with our series.
okay bye
Now, where is Neil? I can't see Neil now.
Ma'am, I think his network has gone.
Acha, my networking man is network is gone. So,
But Miss, we tried to keep the show go on.
yeah, thank you so much. That's how the show should always be going on.
Some
Isn't it?
some question answers were there.
Okay,
Huh.
nice. So
Now
Neil
we
is
are back. Okay.
So I think life is showing a lot of different colors here, but anyways, we did not give up.
Yeah.
So Neil, it's really interesting to know about your adventures. Tell us more about your time in some forests and what happened. How did you manage to go to a very remote place
Okay.
somewhere in Africa?
When I worked in Papua New Guinea, I was right in the forest over there. So we flew into Port Moresby, and we were doing a project for Chevron, and we flew from Port Moresby to a World War II airstrip right in the bush, and it took us about 2 hours of flying time, and we are surrounded by, when you land over there, you're surrounded by trees 80 to 100 feet tall, and the people over there don't wear any clothes. It's hardly any clothes. Yeah, they are the bushmen over there of Papua. So till the late 70s, they were.
No, we lost him again. Is it mine or is it yours? Usha, can you hear me?
Yes.
So
But it is showing that your network is low.
my
Your
network is low.
Yeah. Earlier it was showing that your bandwidth is low.
Okay. So I have been actually Wi-Fi network is this one.
मैम मेरे को एक चीज नहीं समझ में आ रही इसमें
I got
Are we
Kriti on the screen now.
Yes. Am I back?
Yeah, you're there. I can see you, Vijay.
Okay. So there are a lot of interruptions. Yes, continue. We heard about
Yeah,
the question. So
Yeah, so we landed there, and then we joined our barge, and we were going to lay a pipeline from that river to the sea because the oil was found in the mountains of Papua, and we were the first actual company over there with Chevron putting this oil pipeline in the river and taking it out to the sea for the oil tankers to fill oil over there. So when we were over there, we underwater inspection for the pipeline, and the local people used to come and watch us because we were wearing diving helmets, and they used to be very worried because we were down for 3 hours working in this muddy water. You couldn't see anything. It was only using your fingers. We were, doing stuff. And when we came out and they removed the helmet, we would get claps on the other side. So we were like heroes. They had never seen anybody, diving and going underwater and all that. So as that happened, we used to get a lot of the locals that used to come on our barge. We were like about 40 people on this barge, but the locals used to come. So that included the chief and his family. So the chief's daughter was very impressed with me. So she used to come. Yeah, she used to come and she used to single me out, and then she used to talk to me in a broken, they call it pidgin English. And she used to talk to me, yeah, and then she was so inquisitive about everything. And I used to tell her how we breathe and stuff like that. And also for her, it was like, this guy is a damn hero. Like, I don't see this in Papua. So
But
one
you
day
were
she
really
came with a
overbooked.
no, one day she came with a big basket of fruits, and all the local Papuan guys started shaking their heads. And I was like wondering, and she gives me this basket of fruits. These are all this rambutan and
Yes.
shalak. These are local fruits. And I was like, hey, thank you. And I told the other diabetes, go on, let's eat it. And we all washed it and we were eating, and like monkeys we were eating. And then the guy's telling me, he says, Neil, she has chosen you as a husband. And I was, what? He says, yeah, she's going to tell her father, I like this guy. And her father's a local chief. So you are going to end up over here. You're not going to go back to India. Now I started panicking, like, I said, what is this? And
You married at that time to Lena.
no, I was not married. This was
Achha. So Lena is my
1990.
friend.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, that was, my experience in Papua. But luckily, we started moving out from that location. So then they couldn't come on the barge. So when I finished my project, I did actually almost 7 months. The only reason I did 7 months was we Indians are immune to Papuan malaria. Everybody was falling down with malaria, like, sick. I was from Bombay, so I guess the mosquitoes that bit me died, yeah, rather than me getting malaria. So I finished that project and I flew out from Papua, and yeah, that was an experience, over there. So then at that point, I used to talk to the locals, and Papua is infested with saltwater crocodiles. So, and they grow big. They take people. Crocodiles take people in Papua. But where we worked in that area, I never seen any crocodiles. So I said, how do you all manage? There's no crocodiles over here. They said, we ate everything. I said, crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles. They said, yes, it's our food source and we eat them. I said, how do you shoot them? Because I never seen any guns with them. They had only bow and arrows, very primitive. How are you going to shoot a crocodile? And that is the time I realized how resourceful primitive people are from the forest. So what they were doing, they were taking bamboo, this big pieces, which is springing, like a springy type of bamboo, and they were making it a U, and they were tying it with chicken entrails and making a big ball. They would make this big ball and throw it into the river. The crocodile would swallow it because crocodiles swallow their food. He would swallow it and it would go into his stomach.
Again, we are not able to listen.
And it was sharp. Yeah.
Once again,
So
can you minus They just heard that the ball is made and thrown into the water, and the crocodiles are swallowing.
Yeah.
And then
When they swallow it, the gastric enzymes of the crocodile melts the entrails of the chicken, and it springs open, and both the ends are sharp, and that punctures the intestines of the crocodile, and he's dead within a couple of days. And he'll float up. Then they catch it, and then they'll chop it. They'll use the leather for their own stuff, whatever they were making, sheets for their knives or whatever, and the flesh they would eat. So that was a source of protein for people in the bush. So like one crocodile would feed the whole village of like maybe 40 or 50 people. So that's where I learned how resourceful primitive people, like, people who are back, they have no resources as guns or anything, but that's how they got rid of a lot of the crocodiles. Yeah.
so I think when you think that your entire, you don't have anything, is when your mind, triggers and finds solutions for things. So
Yes,
even
yes,
going
yes,
to that state where you feel helpless is actually good at times.
yes, yes, yes.
Because that's where you can trust your mind and find out a solution. So
True.
have you ever come to such a situation during your travels where you just hit zero and you don't know what to do next? And then suddenly you became resourceful and you solved the problem.
I've never actually been in such a tight situation, but the worst situation I ever got where I was like, what to do now, was when a ship sank. It had it in, I think it was 2011 or 2013. I can't this, but it was we were working in the Persian Gulf, and a ship sank with divers in the chamber. And that ship was another diving vessel, and all those six guys.
One second, they might not know what is a chamber, so you would have to
Okay.
explain it to them.
Sorry. Yeah. So when we deep dive, we take in a lot of inert gas when you're breathing at, say, you're working at 70 meters. So the inert component is very high, and if you suddenly, yeah, if you,
right?
yeah, we are breathing helium oxygen. Yeah, helium oxygen, heliox. Yeah. So if you suddenly come out, it's like you open a champagne bottle. A champagne bottle is under pressure, and you open it and it fizzes. So with divers, you will fizz straight away and you'll die immediately when you're doing deep diving, especially. So to avoid that, we come back in a capsule, pressurized capsule, and it is put onto a chamber, another big chamber, and it's locked on. The pressure in the chamber and the capsule is the same, and then we transfer through, and we go into the main chamber where you can shower and eat your food and go to sleep. You have 6 bunks in that. Now that chamber complex is quite big, because you have another chamber for your toilet and your shower, and another chamber for a transfer chamber when you want to go into the diving bell. But in case the ship is sinking, we have what you call a hyperbaric lifeboat, an HRL or a HRC, hyperbaric chamber, rescue chamber, HRC. So what happens is, if the ship is sinking, they put you in that and pressurize you, and they throw the whole unit into the sea, and it floats, and another ship will come and pick you up, connect the life support, and then what they do is decompress you. They'll remove the pressure. It takes you from 100 meters, it would take you about 5 days to come up to surface. Slowly, they reduce the pressure. Now, this ship sank within 4.5 minutes, and these divers had no clue. So they went to the seabed and they were still alive because they were under pressure, according to the seabed over there. And we were on another ship, and we were the only rescue ship over there with a hyperbaric chamber. So we went for rescue of them. But my whole mind was at that time, how am I going to get, if they are alive, how am I going to get them out from there? Yeah, that is the time, like, you start thinking you got solutions. So at that point, I remember going on Facebook and putting it on Facebook and saying we are rushing for rescue. I need drawings because there were no drawings. The ship is sunk. I don't know what is what because I'd not been on that ship. So the valves and everything. And that time I was like praying. I said, I hope these guys are alive. I hope these guys are alive. So we raced to the rescue, but the wind was very high, so we couldn't do much speed. We reached there 28 hours later, and we had calculated the actual life support in that chamber, which would keep them alive. And we were hoping that they would be alive for another at least 36 hours. But sadly, they had already, died out of it's
Breathing.
hypercapnia, carbon dioxide poisoning. So when you keep breathing, the oxygen depletes, but the carbon dioxide content is very high. So you fall off to sleep. So mercifully, they died in their sleep. So 6 of them died, and then we had to actually go and bring the bodies out. So yeah, and so at that point, I was so heartbroken, but because we reached there, but we had a lot of solutions at that time. So many people gave us ideas that do this, do this, do this. We had prepared everything, but sadly, these guys had already passed away. So that is one thing which always haunts me. If they were alive, would I have been able to this? So,
Save even one
but
person.
yeah, so that is how it is, like. So and the irony of it was just like 3 days before the incident, we were joking. The superintendent of that vessel and me was joking. He said, Neil, bad weather is coming, and it's quite bad. Wind speeds are high. So he said, but I have Ishwar Singh
Same.
on board. I said, if you have Ishwar Singh, I have got Yesu Das. Okay, I told him that. So we both of us were quite spiritually aligned at that point. And sadly, but he survived the sinking. He's a different man. Even now he works, and he's a different man. But he was a wreck for completely 2 years because he had lost 6 people. 6 of our friends died in that accident. So yeah, so if you Google for the Kusha one, it was called Kusha one. You'll find it on the net, like the sinking of Kusha one. So yeah. So yeah, that's life, like. But it as I said, no, you got to be prepared. You win and you lose sometimes. Yeah.
But then I've seen so many people go through such tragic events, and it actually affects their life, and they suffer from PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder. But very few people think of taking help for it. They think time
Yeah.
will heal all wounds, but do you think that time will heal all wounds?
Time does make you forget a certain part uh, of the incident. Time does make you forget, but there is always a sense that I could have done better. I always tell myself, yeah, if we had reached this earlier, or those people had done this before it sank. But I'm not in their shoes to decide, because they just evacuated the boat in 4.5 minutes. It sank. So uh, these things we can speculate. After something has happened, this could be done, that could be done.
That's true. Even I went through a lot of trauma during my sister's death, and this feeling of restlessness was what else could I have done. Was there with me, but then later on, as I became wiser and I went into the scriptures, I realized that जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है, and we do not have the control to save somebody in whose destiny our help is not written.
Correct.
So that
True.
relieved me, and that made me feel that okay, I did the best that I could, but God wanted
Yeah.
something else.
True.
So
True.
yes, Bruce. So we are coming towards the end of the session. Wish we could continue a little more and find a few more adventures that Neil Pimento had done. He was a
Yeah.
diver, and he has had so much experience in the various aspects But we're towards the end of the session, so I would like to take a quick round of questions if anybody has to ask. You may just raise your hand up and I just give you a chance first. Any questions? They would want to listen to more stories, and I think they were listening so intently to each and everything. I don't think we would ever have got such live, stories from anyone who's actually been the hero, especially for that young girl. Did you know her name by any chance?
Oh, name was Helen.
Helen. Oh
Helen.
my God.
Yeah.
Awesome,
I think these all these kiddies are very shy about shooting questions, thinking what will somebody think of me, So never, if you want to shoot a question, ask the most foolish question. Nobody will laugh at you, because every question needs an answer. So never keep it within you, and that's where a lot of people come on the job, and when I'm working, and I always ask them, are you clear of what I've told you? Do you have any questions? And then they say, no, sir, I don't have. And then I'll shoot a question at them. I said, this valve number 9, what it actually does, and he doesn't know it. You see? So I said, you should have asked me, why are you so shy about it? So a lot of my crew, they know that it's better to ask Neil, or sometimes they may ask me something I may not know. We don't know everything, but I'll find out and I'll sort it out. So always ask questions. It's a very good way of actually learning. Is ask questions, never feel shy. Yeah.
Sir,
Anybody's true? Yeah,
I
tell
am
me,
with
tell
the
me.
talk so much that I just searched. It is October 20, 2011.
Oh, the
Kusha.
Kusha.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
it
My
is,
ship's name was Providence. If you read over there, it will be the
yes.
Providence. Yeah. So
Near
yeah.
Iran, Persian
Yes,
Gulf.
in
Persian
Persian
Gulf.
Gulf, close to Asaluya is the port. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were 12 nautical miles from Asaluya. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So these things do happen, but yeah.
But I think this is the first time I'm ever listening to such kind of accounts from a person who's actually done that. I mean, we just see these things in movies, and I think what you just described can be turned into a movie. So any movie makers out there, this is a life story, and maybe one day I'll make an episode on Adventures of Neil. As we have started today, we'll definitely be calling you back to listen to more of your adventures. And yes,
A
stories do
good good diving movie to watch at the moment is called The Last Breath. It's called The Last Breath. It's a diving movie made from a real life incident which happened on a ship called the Bibi Sophia. And I worked on that ship many years ago. I was not there when this happened, but you should, anybody with, if you want to learn something about teamwork, resourcefulness, and comradeship, watch this movie. And it's a real story of a diver who was left on the bottom without any gas, without any light, nothing, no oxygen to breathe, nothing, and he survived. And it's one of the classics uh, thing. And if you actually, people who see this may understand what it takes to be a diver, the deep diver, commercial saturation diver, and how close we are as a family. Yeah.
So Neil, we are inviting you again next Wednesday to continue the second part. And in between that, we are going to watch that movie in the class. It's a 2 hour
Yeah,
movie.
but I'll be on my project next Wednesday, so I won't be able to talk to you all. Yeah, I'll be on my project. Yeah,
No
so I'll
problem.
be yeah yeah
Whenever you can, next time, you let us know on any Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we'll call you
Yeah.
back. But we definitely will watch that movie, The Last Breath, right?
yeah. The Last Breath. Yeah.
So thank you so much for all your inputs. It was a very different session from what we had. And if Arna would like to say a few words of thank you to Neil, it would be really nice. Arna is a person who's very shy of asking things, but I think now little bit she's opening up. Anna, would you like to share something?
Nothing much, but it was really informative today's class. So I would like to thank.
Mr. Neil Pimento.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You can-
Arna. You have to be very proactive in life, because you don't ever think what people think about me or what the world thinks about me. You are a person, and you should carry yourself and be assertive, and be proactive about things, and only then will you be a better person. But if you sit down and don't ask questions, or don't talk, just open. Indians have a very uh, uh, different approach to meeting people. You meet a person from a different country, you greet and you must start talking, and it's a good way. That's why I tell people, travel. When you are young, travel. It is an education by itself. Yeah, so I know it's difficult for girls alone, but yeah, girls can travel in groups. So, three of y'all get together, travel small places, but meet different people. And if you are at a place, try to talk to different people. It gives you a good perspective towards life.
Yes.
I lost. Okay, hello, BG, you there? Hey, if you guys can hear me, thanks a lot
Yes.
for listening. And
Thank you, sir. Yes, yes.
thanks a lot for listening, and I hope you're all the best. Be very assertive when you go ahead in life. Don't think what people think about you. You are a person, yeah,
Yes.
and be proud of yourself first. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, Usha.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye,
See you. Bye
sir.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
So much
Bye.
information.
Thank
Thank
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.